If you're watching this video, it means that it hasn't been blocked and I can finally tell people exactly what I think about the new Charmed reboot. Here we go. Before I start this video, I want to mention that I'm going to be teaching classes in LA. So if you guys live in LA and you want to learn witchy things from me and you want to learn about witchcraft and sort of things that we do, definitely check out my classes. I'll be teaching at Liberate Hollywood starting November 5th. So here's what happened. I woke up so early and I was so ready to do this Charmed reaction. I did a brilliant, beautiful reaction to this episode and it was absolutely incredible. I had it all ready and I was like, yeah, my subscribers are gonna love this. And it got blocked. And I tried it again. After cutting it, it got blocked. I tried again and again and again and it got blocked. I don't know what's happening, but I feel like the CW is trying to get me not to tell you guys what I think because they were probably really upset with what I had to say in the first place. So, it's probably happening to a lot of other people because I haven't been seeing an influx of Charmed reaction videos. So a bunch of people are probably getting blocked and it's so frustrating that I really didn't know what to do with myself. So I decided that I'm gonna do it in a completely different way. So instead of doing a reaction video where I react to the actual episode while it's happening, I'm just gonna do a full review of the episode and what I thought. It's not exactly what I wanted to do, but it's okay because you guys get to see what I think about the episode. I start off with their mother's death almost immediately, and it's kind of a disappointment because you want to kind of understand where the characters are and who they are and see their relationship with their mom rather than the 5 minutes that they get with her. So in the original Charmed, what they did was they had seasons upon seasons upon seasons of build-up before they even introduced the mom, or episodes before they even introduced the mom, or the relationship that they had with the mom. They had a full episode on how they felt about their mom's death. It was beautiful. And they didn't do this in the reboot, so I felt a little cheated. I was like, but wait, who's their mom? What is she doing? What relationship do they have with her? All of that stuff. I did like how she was speaking Latin in the spells because it's very similar to a lot of the spells in witchcraft. Yes, you can speak multiple languages in witchcraft, but a lot of the Renaissance witchcraft that happened during the Renaissance was in Latin. A lot of the previous witchcraft, or the spells that you see, are in Latin. It's kind of cool to see that they're working with that with the spells, because in the original Charmed, I'm pretty sure they only spoke English. So it's cool to see that they're actually speaking Latin, speaking different languages. I did like the look of the attic this time. It looked a little more old school. It had the old school wallpaper, and I did like that. It was reminiscent of the original, but it also had its own flair, so I liked that. So the mom dies in the first 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, well, I didn't really know her, so I don't really care that much. The girls react, and then 3 months pass, and they are living their lives, trying to live their lives with their mom's death still on their minds. One of them is in a sorority. Sorority chick is really annoying, and I feel like they should probably just kill her off, because it's what are you doing here? Who are you? And why are you so annoying? But I feel like that's going to be an interesting thing to have. That's going to be an interesting thing that might happen later on. So I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for that to happen. So at this point, I'm kind of frustrated because I see that the acting is really poorly done. Oh my god, the acting. Oh my god. Enough, okay? I can act better than this. God, her reaction is so bad. I can't. What is happening? But I'm a little hopeful. So we keep going on and we find out that one of the girls is dating, or was dating, a cop. So it's very similar to the original. She's dating a cop that was investigating the murder of her mom. She's still upset. Her mom was a women's professor, of course, so there's a bunch of feminist things in the show. One of the witches telling people that if they don't have consent, then they can't do anything, and yada yada. And it seems so forced that it's kind of just why are you saying this? Although at this day and age, it's really important for people to understand that, so I get it. It's definitely something that should be said. It just, the way that it was said, it was very just poorly done. It's the pilot, so I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's very new, but at the same time, I feel like they should replace the actors right now. It's only the pilot. You have time. If you replace all of the actors, it doesn't matter. The original Charmed replaced one of the actors with Alyssa Milano, and it was the best decision that they ever made because Alyssa Milano killed that role. She was perfect for Phoebe. The original chick, I saw the episodes back to back, and it was awful. So just replace the actors and it'll be okay. So it's at this point that they move on to finding out that they have a sister. Yeah, way to skip the 5 seasons that they did before the third sister was even introduced. That seemed very lazy. They killed the mom within the first 5 minutes, sorry, and then they introduced their sister. What? Come on, guys, give me a little bit more time. They figure all this stuff out in the first 20 minutes of the episode. The episode is only 40 minutes long, which seems very long, but it's not. You need that build up. You need that character development, and I feel like we've been cheated. We don't know the characters, and to be honest, I really don't care about them. These characters have no emotions, or when they do, they're very forced and their expressions are like, you know, it's all very poorly acted. They don't know what they're doing, and it shows. So not only is the sister introduced, but also the Leo, I don't know his name, but yes, basically he is Giles from Buffy and Leo from Charmed. The only problem is that they introduced him in the first episode. Again, why are you doing this? Leo was introduced like 5 or 6 or 7, I don't know, episodes into the first season, and he wasn't even their advisor at the time, or they didn't know who he was. He was just their carpenter, and he was doing these little witchy things, like, you know, behind their backs, or white lighter things, and they didn't know who he was. And then we saw this and we were like, oh my god, who is this guy? And they didn't tell us until like 5 episodes later, and it was brilliant because we wanted to see more. With this episode, they give you everything in one episode, and you're kind of just like, okay, well, why do I want to watch more of this? Because they're giving me everything I want in one episode. The thing about TV is that they give you these little teasers and they give you these little things so that you later on want to watch more. Give me a little something that I want to see later on in the episode or later on in the series, so it makes me want to stay and makes me want to see more. I just don't understand why they did this so quickly. I feel like they were just worried that they'd get canceled, so they just wanted to have everything in one episode. Very poor form, and it's really disappointing because I really do want to watch more. It's just there's nothing for me to want to watch more. You know, there's no incentive. Okay, great. That's cool, but what's happening next? What do I look forward to? And that's where they need to work on that. Make your viewers want to see more. Okay, so they end up doing that, and the advisor tells them that they're witches. First episode, once again. So they find out they're witches, and they're like, the scientist sister was like, oh, I'm a scientist, witchcraft isn't real, and yada yada. And I like her character because she's a scientist, and I'm interested in seeing more of her development because she's very opposed to like the idea of witchcraft because she's, you know, all about science and like how things work. And it's a lot of people around nowadays that feel that way. So her like working on her powers and, you know, having that interest in finding out the scientific ways that witchcraft can be real is going to be really interesting. Charity seems to be like the potions character of the series. She's going to be making the potions and doing the chemistry and things like that. So that's going to be interesting. The other characters, again, I need more development because there's not really much there. One of them is dating the cop, which is going to be something interesting. She's like the Prue, and the other one is in a sorority. I guess she's like the Phoebe because she has the psychic abilities, but there's still like, I'm still waiting for a little bit more with them, so we'll see what happens. So one thing that I really liked about this part was that the advisor tells them it's witchcraft. There is a craft to it. It's important to understand your powers and to learn more and to practice more and all of that stuff, and that is very true in witchcraft. You really need to realize that it's not like TV. It's not going to happen right away. Just because you do a spell, it doesn't mean it's actually going to work and all of that. So it's really important to know that starting off. Just, you have to kind of study as much as you can, practice as much as you can, and experiment as much as you can, because then you'll know what your true powers are, what your specialty will be, what you actually are meant to do with your witchcraft or with your craft. So that's really interesting, and I loved how they did that. There was a moment where they saw Melinda Warren in the Book of Shadows, so I'm interested to see if they're going to be like the future charmed ones and then they're going to allude to the older charmed ones, or if they're just like straight up the charmed ones and this is their ancestry. Melinda Warren is their ancestry, and they're just very new charmed ones. So that's really cool. I love that. I'm interested in seeing if they're going to see Melinda Warren and all of that stuff. So kudos to that for having Melinda Warren in the Book of Shadows. Only problem is that, you know, they learn everything in the first episode. Even at some point they talk about how one of the characters figured out how to use her power to her advantage, and it's like, oh my god, it took them so long in the original series to learn this because that's how it's supposed to be. You don't learn everything in one day. You don't learn how to do something in one day. That's why you go to school. That's why you practice. That's why you study, to get better at it, to hone your craft, not to find out everything in one day and figure it out and just do this, do that, do that. I mean, if I had figured all of my witchcraft out in one day, I probably wouldn't be making videos, because I started off making videos to help myself remember everything that I was learning. So come on guys, you don't do that. Even with witchcraft, there are different degrees of witchcraft that you have and you learn. It's like school. So, you know, the first couple years you're like a beginner, next couple years you're an intermediate, and then the next couple years like you're a master and the best, you know, like that sort of thing. You can't just learn everything in one day. That's why you got school, you got the bachelor's degree, you got the master's degree, you got the PhD, and then you become the master of your craft. Like, just realize this. And don't give us everything in one episode. Don't tell us that your characters know everything that they need to be doing in one episode, because that's impossible. It's not convincing. We don't believe that, and we don't care. I don't know any of the characters' names, and I really don't care. It's like one of those things where if one of the characters dies, okay, that sucks. But I'm not like, oh my god, oh man, oh that character died, I loved her so much, oh that makes me feel so much, why do they do this, are they gonna bring them back, yada yada. That's what you need to do to get people to be interested. It's like when the mom dies. First of all, they put the mom and the Grams together and say that their mom was the one that took their powers away and was in the process of giving them back their powers when she died. How are you going to merge two of the characters together, forget one of them, and just say, oh, this is that one person, and oh, sorry, we're not going to develop her anymore, she dies in the first 5 minutes. Like, that doesn't give us anything. And there were two characters for a reason, because they were raised in the original by their grandmother, and they still had feelings about their mom who died when they were younger because they never got to know her, and that gave you the feels. That was like, oh man, I can't imagine having to deal with that. And then they go through that episode where they witness her death and try to save her, or try to figure out how to kill the demon that killed her. And that was just like, man, that is intense. That's, man, the feels. And I don't get that with the series at the moment, and it's really kind of just like I said before, I just don't see anything really happening right now, and it's really disappointing because I want to feel for these characters, but I don't. There was a moment where they showed the house, and I think it's beautiful. I actually like the colors of this house on the outside better than the original, because the original is pink, and if you guys know me, I don't really like the color pink. So I like the dark purple and the little highlight of a different color next to it. So kudos to making the house and the art direction looking good. Art direction is on point, guys. You know what's up, and I am very happy for you because that's a 5 out of 5 for you. Art direction is great. Script writing, you guys need a little bit of work. So in the end, they find out that the professor that had a sexual misconduct trial or something ended up being the demon. Of course they're going to tie that in because the women's studies professor, who was their mom, who wanted this guy gone and said, this is not a witch hunt, this is a reckoning, which they repeated later on, not very well. She ended up wanting him gone, and he ended up being the demon. Of course. So again, their feminist way of, you know, killing the patriarchy or killing the guys who, you know, harm women. And okay, like, you can do that, but it wasn't done very well. I wish it was, because that would have been an interesting message, but it wasn't. So this guy ends up being the demon, and he's an ice demon. And I'm sorry, but he looks exactly like the guy from Game of Thrones. I know that Game of Thrones is really popular, but the fact that you, as this show, are capitalizing on their success and trying to make your demon look exactly like the guy that everybody's rooting for in Game of Thrones to be dead, like, come on. If you guys know the name of this guy, I can't remember. It's something King. I'm blanking right now, but yeah. Comment down below if you remember who this guy is, because I cannot wait for that season to come out. But anyways, I'm not talking about Game of Thrones, I'm talking about Charmed, and the fact that they used his face, that should not be okay. They used his face in the episode, or their rendition of what he looks like. It was very good graphics though. Honestly, I saw the trailer and I thought, this looks horrible. And they definitely changed it up. Did they watch my video? Like, I don't know. What do you guys think? No, they definitely changed it up, which I really liked. The graphics were much better than what I thought. I think in the trailer, they probably didn't have everything ready and they just wanted to get everything out, which is understandable. That happens sometimes. You don't always have the full look of the effects. So you just put out what you have and what looks decent at the time, just so that everybody has it. They probably had a deadline, so I totally get that. It looked very good, so great graphics, guys. I really commend you on that because it looked really good. Sorry that you tried really hard to be somebody else, but it still looked good. So they killed the demon and meh. It was kind of anticlimactic like the original is, like, oh, they killed the demon and they're off to their lives, and you know, that's one of those things where the original Charmed lacked a little bit in giving us a little bit more for the ending. Like, we wanted to see them beat the crap out of people and just like, and they literally just say a spell and they blows up. So they did that, like, ode to the original Charmed where like nothing really happened. I think that Giles was basically just like, you guys, Macy, oh, I remembered someone's name. The older chick, he's like, bring your sisters to you, feel their emotion, they're being separated from you, pull your sisters in. And that was her like using her emotion with her power to get her sisters back. Okay, that was something, but at the same time, she wouldn't have figured it out in the first time. Like, come on, that's not realistic. So they kill the guy and they walk away. There's this kid that is like, what is going on? This is happening, blah, 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 that had his opinions about the fact that they were going against their teacher who did end up like touching women inappropriately or something, and they were just like, you know what? Let's not erase his memory. He can remember everything and nobody's ever gonna believe him because he's a man. And it's his word against ours. And I'm just like, what the hell are you talking about? This is not how people should think. It's his word against ours because he's a man. We're not trying to go against men. Men and women should be equal. Not women are better than men. Like, why are you trying to send this message? That's not okay, in my opinion. I don't know. Tell me what your opinion is down in the comments below, because in my opinion, it should be women are equal to men, not men are below women and they're terrible people and we should just go against them completely and have our Amazonian, you know, the last man moment where we cut off our boob and kill every man in the planet. Come on. If you guys know that reference, again, comment down below because I'm a little bit of a geek. That's my favorite comic book. But yeah, like, no. So they end up walking towards him like, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's a man. And then they walk out and have their whole like, we're charmed ones, we're gonna link arms and like go and just like live our lives. And yeah. All in all, I give the Charmed Reboot pilot a 4.5 out of 10. That is 10, not 5. 1, because their art direction was actually really, really good. Really well done and great set, guys. 2, because their graphics actually weren't bad. They were really well done, better than I thought they would be, so definitely good all around, and I'm excited to see the graphics for later on. The downside is the actors should be replaced. They should have been replaced originally. To be honest, their secondary actors, like the dude that's hanging out with Macy, the one that can move things with her mind, and then the cop, they're such good actors. Their secondary actors are on point, except for like that little kid guy that the girl punches and he's just like, ew, like please get away. But they're actually really good. Like, I wish that they had been the charmed ones and maybe they just made the dude into a charmed one. Like, obviously that couldn't happen, but he was actually a really good actor and I was like really rooting for him to have more lines. He needed more lines, the cop needed more lines because they were actually really good actors. So I'm excited for their characters to be seen a little bit more. So that is my review of Charmed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below and I will let you know if I'm going to be making more videos like this. I'm not sure because my videos have been getting blocked, but I will try my hardest to make more videos like this. I'll see you guys next time.